Hello, Angie here. It is Thursday, May 23rd of 2024. Today is my wedding anniversary, the only marriage I've ever had. About, 24 years ago, 25 years ago, something. I'm too stupid to count and figure that out these days and have amnesia, so I wouldn't remember. But anyways, I married my only husband, Michael Jason Riley. We went to, we lived at the Austin Village Apartments in Austin, Indiana, and we went to. I had caught him cheating on me, and so, anyways, I worked at the Walmart, I think, and he worked at a factory. So, anyways, I had caught him cheating. I caught his ex girlfriend Nicole's number in his wallet, and I think he had been staying out at that time. Anyways, which is most likely why I went rummaging through his wallet. So, I I called him and I confronted him about it and told him that he either had to marry me or get out because the apartment was just mine. So, anyways, and at that time it was just me and him and Bradley. Um, anyway, so I told him to marry me or get out. So we went to our babysitters, which was a friend of mine from all the way back to elementary, I think. Anyways, so we went to her and got her pennies and took them to Scott County State Bank in Scottsburg. Went through the drive-through, cashed them in, and went to the courthouse and caught the judge walking out the door. It was like around 4 o'clock, and we got married right there in the hallway, right in front of the clerk's window. The clerk, both clerks on that were working were our witnesses on our marriage license or marriage certificate. So, anyways, we got married right there in the courtroom, the hallway of the courthouse. And the 16 years I was with him, I wouldn't have thought a thing about it. But since I've been without him for almost 11 years, or without any version of him, we were victims of identity theft and I had numerous versions of him and did not know it. Anyways, I look at things differently now, namely because I've been hearing all the rumors and all the little comments that people say. And somebody felt entitled to him enough to take custody of my kids from me and to keep me from his entire side of the family, and to take anything from me that his name was that he was involved in or that his name was on, which wasn't much because most of what I had was in my name solely. Um, and I guess at the time I looked at it like it was our lifestyle is why that was, because I was a little cleaner than he was. Now I'm wondering if something that he hadn't told me before. He had told me years ago, one version of him had told me that he had two wives, and I didn't know how to take that. So I guess it kind of went in one ear and out the other. But anyways, I'm starting to look at things differently, and I'm starting to question everything. And I've lost everything, my entire life from birth to date. Um, and that, well, to about what, 6 months or a year ago, I've lost it all. And anything that his name gets put on, it usually becomes a target, or anything that is, if I spend money that had to do with him or his identity, it usually gets taken. So, anyways, and they're doing that with my kids too. But by my life, I've had kids every day of my life. So figure that out. I'm still trying, and I think I've maybe figured it out before I just lost my memory, I guess. But anyways, the woman felt entitled enough to step in and to overtake my entire life and what just happened. My screen has got a screen over it. I accidentally pushed the button, apparently. There we go. Anyways, I'm having ENT issues this morning and trouble breathing. I should be on oxygen, but I'm not. So one of the many things the woman also does is, like I said, she targets anything with his name, and she says that me having his last name isn't legal or isn't rightful or legal, and that she can't get nobody to do nothing about it. So as long as I keep using his name and benefiting from it, that she'll be there to ensure that I don't benefit. So one of those things that comes with that is medical treatment. She keeps enough mind control going to where it keeps control of everything in my life to where it just doesn't happen. And when it does happen, it's usually duplicate locations or switch test results or the place getting overtook. There are a whole lot of switching going on. Plus, I think she's got bad backing. So anyways, and there used to be 5 versions of him that were the cover to five others. And what that means is that whenever he was born, there was 5 others that we actually think there was numerous, but there were 5 main ones. And they all 5 had different paternity or different DNA. They were a Riley, either through either side, and then the other 5 sides were Turner, Hernandez, Stamber, Double O'Reilly, and I can't remember the 5th. But anyways, there were 5 main ones, and there ended up being hundreds of him that were either had similar similar genealogy or whatever, or were raised as or something. But some of them were raised with his exact life, and some of them were meant to be the covers to bosses and federal informants. And I probably shouldn't be saying that, but I am, because I am tired of it. I am tired of me and my kids doing without. And the way I look at it, Miss Thing, is that if I wasn't married with him, then you guys had 16 years to tell me. And you guys had every reason in the world to approach me, because when we lived at Grayland Place, all the leases at Grayland Place with all 4 lots, or with 3 lots, 3 of the lots were in his name. The house in Hayden, the land contract, was in his name. The apartment at Twin Lakes was in his name. His doctor's visits, when we'd go to the clinic daily, all in his name. Every time he'd get stopped and arrested, it would be in his name. So when you go around telling the story, you need to tell it right, instead of telling enough to make me a target and to get them off of you guys by sending them my way. So that being said, besides, on my end of things, there was a rumor that he was being held against his will while his duplicate stepped as him, and his duplicate was she wasn't exactly a duplicate, but it was supposedly a woman, which is why the whole funeral fiasco happened, I'm guessing. His funeral was on, I think, November 25th of 2013 in Austin, Indiana, or known as Buchanan's Funeral Home. It was fun. I had gotten drugged. Couldn't even dress my own ass. I went in tennis shoes and cloth pants. Miserable sight. swear to God. Hid in the van, drinking. Kept going in and out, kept going back out to the van to drink. Or the Durango, I guess, whatever vehicle it was. But anyways, I think they record those things. There should be a video to watch. They had the coffin rocking, literally, and it looked like they had a snake under his shirt that it kept moving. And I swear you could see him breathing. But anyways, and I go through more than you know just by saying that for obvious reasons. Whether or not it was a duplicate location or not is beyond me. But I lived it and I handled it wrong. And I'd like to say if I could do things differently, I probably would. But this time I probably wouldn't even go. I'd probably just avoid it altogether. But anyways, there was also talk of his memorial service weeks later being held at a hotel in Seymour, Indiana, being his memorial service because I was there. And then after I left, it supposedly turned into his wedding reception because he supposedly got married at either the same day as his funeral or the very next day after his funeral. So either dealing with a very crazy broad who has numerous people that help her in what she does in life, or I had an imposter and they may have wanted the history kept as a cover for them, which that was initially what the woman had told me. The woman had told me that she was his before me and that she was keeping me for the sole purpose so she would have a cover, and that whenever she was done with her work that I would be removed from the picture to a duplicate location where nobody would find me or know me. And she would be taking every aspect of my life. And nobody would know it until it was too late. And then by the time they found out, they would end up in the same spot as me. And one of her goals was to take my entire family's net worth and identities and use the history and heritage to accomplish whatever they were trying to accomplish. So anyways, and all of this was read from, actually it was from her own personal point of view. It was her and I talking, and we used to argue. I've yelled at her, I've threatened her, I've screamed, I've begged, I've done everything to get her to step off, and she won't. And she usually tells me when she's writing new notebooks, because she usually writes a new notebook about once every 7 to 10 years. She'll write a new notebook. And she'll usually, it's usually a mental thing. It goes through my mind and that's it. Sometimes I'll hear it or sometimes somebody will spout it off. But it's usually a mental thing, and it's been that way my whole life. She's had my mental control or mental mic my whole fucking life. Anyways, and it's somebody that I think had beef with my mom or grandma or something. I'm not sure, or even aunt. But anyways, I wasn't supposed to. Each special day of the year that we have, she'll usually either move me locations away from my family, or she'll knock the whole house out, and or she'll make me sick to where I usually stay in bed and I'm hid. She usually does that with every major holiday, but she'll always tell me that that's one. She told me that she said that's one anniversary you won't ever see. Well, here we are. It's my anniversary by my calendar. I may be delayed because of her, but I'm seeing it. So, and I hate you more than life itself, and you have made my life so pretty miserable. I've attempted suicide over my life 4 times because of the woman. And it's a spot that she is all too good at. And I actually think it's one of her offspring is that one. But either way, it was related. It's connected to her, and she knows it. And she was most likely the one who created it or was in control anyway, because she's one that likes to sit around or lay around and control. But anyways, and they've moved the spot to different people, people that they thought could handle it and could change the outcome or the spot or something. I don't know. But anyways, I don't know that there's ever been anybody that's had her and attempt that and them not happen. Even if they do manage to escape it, she usually sends people in after they're asleep, and she'll dump it down their throat or put it up in them and try to make it look like a suicide, but when it was actually murder. She's also notorious at dumping bottles of alcohol or people's bodily waste down people's throats and charging them a value of gold or a bottle of gold. They're big on whenever as they go through it, I guess they jot down notes or they're part of their process or something, but they're big on keeping DNA on you. And in their mind, that's possession. In their mind, that gives them possession over you. That way, if you come in contact with any law enforcement or any medical personnel and they catch the DNA, in her mind, it automatically pulls her up and gives her the right to decide what to do with you. I don't see it that way. When she gets to it because you wake up smelling awful, it's gotten to the point, she's gotten to me so much over the last 10 years that it's not even funny. I usually lay around in my own filth and wait until people swab me so they can get her stupid ass DNA. But anyways, I'm not going to elaborate on that. Namely because every time I bathe, she gets a hold of me, it's worse. The things that she does to me is way worse, and the fashion she does it in is way worse. Going out public, and I'm sounding a little crazy. But I don't know what else to do. I don't know if she's coming in as my family and getting away with it, or if she's knocking everybody out and coming in after we're asleep, or if she's one that has a place that she hides on the property that nobody knows about, and makes appearances after we're all lights out. I know for a long time, every time I would sleep, I would wake up feeling like I'd been in a coma for months or years. But anyways, it's a real thing, and it's not just me going through it. At one time, she was known as the woman who, or one of her parts or something was known as the woman with the key to the city, and what that meant was that she had access to the entire city. She could come and go freely as she wanted to. So, and I'm not the only one that's going through it. So she does the same exact thing to me to others, and I don't know if they know it or not. And by the time you figure it out, she'll have you. The first time we went through this, the first decade of the millennium, she had me so freaking brainwashed that I couldn't. It was unreal. I ended up losing everything. I lost my entire life because of their stupid brainwashing asses. And they went around. They're big on using other people's identities, and I think it's to the extreme with either duplicate skins with duplicate prints, while they keep the original one on camera for the alibi, or sometimes they'll take extreme measures, and the original one will be walking around with somebody different prints and will be none the wiser. And there's numerous ways that can be done. You can pay for a hand and foot surgery to have your prints altered. There's also cosmetics that you can put over them and then have new prints on the surface. So, I mean, there are ways you can do it, but, and it's a mainstream thing. They're doing it to everybody. Excuse me. And state employment was the target a couple of decades back. That's why all the state employees' families are going through it so bad. Anyways, my ex-stepfather-in-law was a Carmel police officer for 16 years. And then he went on to start his own private investigator company, neighborhood security patrol company. Started a cleaning company and a prepping company for his wife to run. Managed a little community called Grayland Place in Noblesville, Indiana. He worked at the Capitol Police Department on the governor's detail briefly. And he even went on to work for social services in like child custody and stuff like that. So, and then my aunt was a Scott County Welfare Office caseworker for almost 40 years. And then the volunteer and coordinator of the Scott County Angel Tree Christmas Assistance Program, and the Elf Tree, which was food baskets for the disabled. So anyways, those were some things that made my family a target and caused vendettas that people had with him to be passed down to all of us kids, which made us kids a target. And we were, my husband and I were drug addicts for over a decade, for a little more than a decade. We weren't bad. We were semi-functionable. I mean, given the fact that we lost everything we owned, would say different, but that was unforeseen circumstances and outside forces. And I'm not sure what the motives were. It may have been one of the my husband's sibling or something. I don't know. But anyways, so I'm rambling on and sounding like a straight psycho, and so I'll quit. But anyways, I just wanted to say happy anniversary. I was only with him, or only married him for 13 years before his funeral. Assuming it was even him I married. But anyways, but we were together for 15 years and 9 months altogether. From the day we met to his funeral, I think it was 15 years and 9 months. But anyways, having major issues. So anyways, I think this is the last day on my end in May. May's a big month because of my sister-in-law's birthday, my daughter's birthday, my husband's birthday, and then my anniversary. So all that's left now is Memorial Day, and Memorial Day is in just a few days. This is Thursday, and it's Monday, I think. So after Memorial Day, hopefully we'll be getting the camper opened up, and hopefully she'll have the money to get it worked on and get it going. I'd love to go camping again, but there's too much going on and our health is too bad. But we can, this way, if we can get it going, we can at least have it in the backyard, which is what we're all used to. Because we're used to having it to go out and spend the nights, and we used to spend the night in it every Friday. And then we'd go out there. I'd go out there and stay during the day. How I used to stay out there by myself sometimes all night and all day. But anyways, so I don't know. All of her health is faded drastically over the last 5 years or so. So things are a lot different. Plus, my aunt's retired. My uncle's retired. She retired from the welfare office and the Angel Tree both. So they and they're both used to working. They worked the same job for around 40 years. Both of them did. So one worked third shift and one worked days. So that's fun. But anyways, so they're trying to to adjust to all of that. And after spending 40 years working every day, and now you're stuck at home with nothing to do, it kind of takes its toll, I guess. But anyways, there's also controversy over that. So anyway, I'm used to getting a duplicate feed also, which is where somebody usually sets up who looks like me and mimics me. Sometimes I think she's even put her own audio through. Recently, I might add. But anyways, so this is the thing, and I think a lot of what has to do with that is I think that one of the imposters my husband had, I think may have been the one that tried to take my life in my own bed at my grandma's house, which is how my the left side of my face. That's what's wrong with it. I used to look, whenever you'd look at me, you used to be able to tell real bad. My ears were lopsided. Both sides of my face, one was higher up than the other. My nose was crooked. My lips were almost non-existent. It screwed me up pretty bad, but there's been a lot done to me since too. So, but anyway, so there's things there for them to be covering, but and then the financial angle is also a thing. So, other than that, I mean, I'm sure there may be more. And like I said, I think this has been a family vendetta that goes back to my grandparents or even before. But I'm live. I don't have any viewers, but and it's really not your people's call what I say, if what I say goes out or not. You guys trying to hide me and cover your own asses is a big part of the reason why I am the way I am. And I don't appreciate you guys butting in my life. And believe me when I tell you, I don't have nobody. There isn't a single person that has the right to control me or make decisions for me. Nobody. And the ones that I did have haven't been involved in my life at all. So those of you that are sitting around making decisions over my life, you need to quit because it's illegal. And I am telling you this nicely. And I know you're hearing, and I know you better listen. I'm tired of being moved all over God's creation. I'm tired of being moved to all the duplicate locations. I'm tired of being blamed for the duplicate locations being ratted. I'm tired of being blamed for it all. You're going to quit, and you're going to let me have my own life. What little bit of fucking life I have left is miserable, but you're going to let me have it, and that's going to be that. Otherwise, we're going to tango. I have begged with you guys. I have pleaded with you guys. I have yelled at you guys. I have threatened you guys. I went public more times than I care to count. And it's going to stop, and you're going to step off. You're going to quit me and my family's identities. You're going to quit hiring people to control me. You're going to quit hiring people to do things to me when I sleep. You're going to quit the whole enchilada. You know, you get away with what you get away with for a reason. And all of you are in such a bad spot that people's judgment is slipping. And people are doing things they typically wouldn't do, and they're going against things they typically wouldn't go against. And it needs to stop. That's why I tried to tell everybody that letting everybody go back home to their families and being as normal as they can possibly be is going to work out better than the way things have been going, versus keeping everybody from their biologicals, keeping everybody desperate and in need. Try a new way of things, and you'll see. I think that was done before, and I think everybody sat back and watched, and a lot of people got their heart broke, which is what caused a lot of these stupid-ass vendettas. But I think if you look at the bigger picture, I think you'll see things that you haven't seen before, and I think that the mind control going on isn't just with me. I think that mind control going over, I think the increase in control started when we looked at the Austinville apartments. And I think it followed us to Grayland. And I think it followed us back to Austin. I think it was even at Twin Lakes. Possibly Hayden. But either way, it got worse when we were at the Village Apartments. And I think that people are stuck in spots and everyday routines, and I think they're not seeing what they need to be seeing. And I think you better be seeing it soon, because too many people have took payoffs again. And when this happens, people get hired, let's get handed over, and people start dropping like flies, which is what's been going on. So somebody better be figuring out a new way of doing things. I'm not going to last much longer because they've gotten a hold of me too many times. But anyways, that applies to just about everybody involved. But I'm sure that's coming from someone, I just don't know. And going to someone specific, I just don't know who. Either way, people are trusting people they shouldn't be trusting, and it's taken its toll on the community. My entire life was investigated, and there wasn't no reason found. Down to the penny of the amount that I spent on dope my whole life. Down to the amount of dope I sold my whole life. You guys have either are under mind control or been brainwashed or something, or you took a payout and are forced to play a part you can't get out of. I didn't make sense then. I don't make sense now. And you've got to quit, because I'm tired. I am extremely tired. I don't owe none of you money. You've never worked for me. You guys have kept me and chimed in on my medical treatment my whole life, which is why medical treatment my whole life has been minimal, especially over the last 3 decades. And people have sat down and compared my arrest records and ran them through the system and matched them. They compared my medical records and ran them through the system and matched them. They came up with so many people that were possibles. And I think the first time 5 of those panned. And I think the number may be a little higher now. So whoever's doing it needs to quit. I look desperate. I look awful. I look the worst point in my life I've ever been. I'm sure there's been worse, and I'm sure there's worse to come. But something's got to change. And whatever's about to happen this time, I've spent months preaching that it was coming, that it was happening. And you're not going to blame me or my kids for it either. And you guys have already started blaming my offspring. Why do you think all the offspring have been dropping like flies? You've even started targeting husbands again, or the people that look and act as him. And I know you took it out of me. You've been taking it out of me the whole goddamn decade. Actually, the last 2, if you want to know the truth about it, the decade prior to that, she couldn't get me in person. The only way she could get me is by chance through control. I was born in 82. February of 82, to be exact. That was also a differentiating factor, was my birthday. They also try and hide my birth name. One side of things, tries to hide my birth name, and one side of things tries to hide my married name. So, I don't know. But anyways, I don't get to get out much, so making it to the graveyard ain't going to be possible, I don't think. I'm broke anyway, so I don't have nothing to take out there, which is why his mom usually goes out there, or somebody known as his mom usually goes out there and handles the decorations each season. So, you know what? And if I'm making an ass out of myself, so be it. What do you think, you guys, to me, by not telling me this? You want to throw in my face that I'm making an ass out of myself? You better think about what the last 26, 27 years. And you also might want to look around you and see who's got what and see who doesn't. You also might want to check where your kids are and where mine are. And you might want to stay out of my life because I'm fed up. You guys won't let me get my own life back because you say I'm not entitled to anything with my husband's name or history. We tried going around it with just me. I can't change my name until I get my own money. I'd have my name changed to my marriage and also goddamn fast your head would fucking spin. All it would take is me to have my own money. This is what my life has been like for about the last 15 years. Nobody's ever approached me in person. Nobody's ever had me pulled in. I've never been pulled in by any law enforcement. I've never, there's never been any inkling other than chatter and rumors and people trying to start trouble, and that's never in person. If it is in person, it's with me being belligerent or drugged or asleep. They've never approached me with me being sober and coherent. So, I mean, and they keep me from law enforcement through control. And if you knew what I meant by that, you'd understand. That came out yesterday, but also. So, anyways, May 23rd of 2024. I've got to have physical therapy because my motor movement's off. I can't stand it. It's driving me nuts. Plus, ENT issues are affecting me too. Anyways, one of the duplicate locations is supposedly close to the magnetic field or the Earth's core, something. There's supposedly numerous duplicate locations. Even space even supposedly has one, as well as some planets. Anyways, they're also supposedly under the ocean and under the sea, hidden mountains, the whole enchilada. There's hundreds of thousands of them, supposedly. Some were marine locations, and some were meant strictly to hide from terrorists. Some were privately owned and are used for human trafficking, like privately owned islands owned by celebrities or wealthy people. Excuse me. They they're big on human trafficking and nobody catches that. Everybody gets caught up in the fact of the WITSEC program, or which doesn't operate under anything duplicate. With the WITSEC program, you're not allowed to have anything from your old life in any fashion. That was rolled out when all this was first dimed. I can't remember if that was the same time frame the human farms were dimed, and then they found some training camps where they were taught to play parts so they could go in, and I think that was terrorism though. But I think they go hand in hand. Then they have one where it's nothing but childbearing women who do nothing but have pregnancies. They've supposedly moved the USA government to and dispersed them over 5 locations long ago. And I think that was how, the locations may have been legal federally under a certain law. Anyways, they dispersed them. And it's one of the things that caused the downfall. I can't remember if it was before 9/11 or after 9/11. But anyways, some say we never really bounced back from 9/11, and some say 9/11 was the cover to what had already happened, and what had already happened supposedly was the reason for the USA falling. And they've got people believing that the U.S. That the economy tanked, and that the U.S. is under possession of the nation who has enough gold to be able to back the economy, and that's apparently what it takes to possess the USA. It's known as new law, which is a law that has to go by the nation's laws that works with USA law. There's also a rumor going around that the USA is pitching their problems to other nations because other nations, they've been caught. They just can't, they can even prove it. They just can't catch them. So they send them to other nations where if you get caught doing certain things, you get beheaded, or there's certain places that are still doing electrocutions, like the electric chair. Anyways, it's each location's different. Each mic system's different. I think there's been times where I've swore that I've been moved to a duplicate location and I haven't left the house. But it's been because based on the mic. But there's also, and the mind control. There's also been times where I'd swear that the complete opposite. So anyways, and I think a lot of it is scam artists taking people for everything they got. There was some things going on in the drug trafficking world, and they supposedly lost 400 million kilos plus of cocaine. It was like 2 to 5 semis full of cocaine, and they lost the entire enchilada. And so the people that were in charge of it couldn't pay it back for nothing. So then those people were given the choice of choosing 5 families each to get it back. So they blew through those 5. Still wasn't enough. So then they started targeting the mic system. So it didn't matter where in the world you were. If you were on that mic system, you were being a target. So they created a duplicate location to move the mic system and everybody involved to one location. They made that duplicate location interchangeable, so it could change into five states or 5 countries, or however you look at it. It had 5 locations it could change into. So anyways, and this is supposedly a standard thing. And they've supposedly lost, I think last time I heard it was in the 50s, the last 50 something had been stolen or lost. And it's because of all the locations. So they tried they keep trying to get everybody back to their home locations to stay, but certain people won't quit. So, and right now, I think it's been people, like in my case, I think it's been like affairs that my husband had. I think it has to do with people that targeted my family and their estate. But they went as far as they ran my kids out of every school they've ever attended. They ran me out of every address we've ever lived, the whole enchilada. So, I mean, there's proof, and everybody has investigated it, and everybody supposedly falls off the face of the earth or gets murdered. But you don't ever hear anything about it outside of that. So it makes me wonder if they aren't taking one of the infamous payoffs, because it's the way it sounds is it's where the money from all the cocaine is going. It's going to pay hit artists and to pay people off to make them play parts, so they can get their lives back legally. Plus, it's going for all these duplicate locations, supposedly, to hide, which may have been true at one point. But a lot of these locations have been around my whole life, or a good portion of them. So the money's going somewhere. Somebody's living off Hennessy and caviar. And that has been a thing for a minute. That's been a rumor on the mic. One of those things that doesn't go away. It's usually the first things out of somebody's trap. And you know how it is when one gets caught. But anyways, I am drug-free, going on several years. I've been staying sober. I've lost a good percentage of my brain function, though, because of, and I do have impairments from strokes. Heart attacks have done damage to my heart and have limited my blood flow. I have seizures, so seizures have done a number on me. I think I've suffered certain fractures. It screwed up my eye movement or whatever. Anyways, but and I do have amnesia and dementia and all of that. And my dementia and amnesia both were deliberate and planned. And my first case of amnesia was whenever I was 11 or 12, after my mom passed or supposedly died. But anyways, so I'm kept limited to what I can do, because those are some of the things that I would be doing research into. That would be one of the things I'd be finding out about, why my life is the way it is and who's to blame, because I'm tired of taking the blame. If you knew some of the stuff they blame me for, it's unbelievable. When I was like 5 or 8, I think I took the heat for ratting them up boss, because I pulled a fingerprint off of my dad's station wagon door handle. I used a makeup compact, and some makeup brush with Scotch tape and an index card. I pulled the print and stuck it on the index card and gave it to my mom. But anyways, I was a child, so anyways, just certain things, if I'm gonna go through this and be treated like this, I want to know what I done to make it this way. And I am a firm believer in doing things a certain way or being respectful about it. So, some things in life, there's no other way to do them except in person. And you can go up to Scottsburg, Indiana courthouse and get a copy of my marriage certificate. It's public knowledge. You can go to truthfinder.com and run a background check. That's like a low monthly payment. You can do it one time or you can do it monthly. Lots of things you can do. I was born and raised in Scottsburg, Indiana, so whoever's playing the part of me needs to quit, because my life has been documented the whole time, and I've been legal the whole time. By illegal, I mean I'm a legal citizen. I mean, I have the appropriate numbers and credentials to back that, and no matter how many times you steal them, it's not going to change it. It's not you where you have to go up there and try and get them because you lost the ones you had and you get denied and walk. It's I'm me, so they can't deny me. See, you are so easy to how you keep getting away with this. It's dumbfounding to me. I mean, five women have been or known have been arrested and have been taken in under my ID. Or some a popular thing is they'll stop them, they'll hand them my ID and even have my plate, and they'll arrest them and not say anything to them about it, and they'll know that the IDs are fake, or that the identity is fake. But they'll know that they're up through the mic, or that they have eyes on them, so they'll take them in under the impression that it's me. And nobody's ever notified me of that until last fall, I believe. It had came out through technology, where numerous officers had done that, had taken people in as me and had arrested them as me, and where they would sign or they would agree to wear wires, and where they left it open and didn't deny that it didn't charge them with the identity theft or nothing. So it left people to believe that it was actually me. And that was an issue for a long time. But anyways, I can't believe they get away with it. And I can't believe they've got the control over me that they've got, which a part of their plan was to make me mentally disabled and childlike. That was specified. So I've lost all faith in everybody and everything. And I stay to myself as much as I possibly can. And I don't trust anybody around me because I never know who they are. I never know if they are my actual family or if they're my worst nightmare. And I never know what their motives are. Just because I usually walk around oblivious. But anyways, I'm going to go because I've got to run to the bathroom. And I'm getting on my nerves and sounding a bit crazy. So I'll probably be recommended to a psych after this YouTube live. But anyways, this is episode 7 of 7, by the way, on this channel. And this channel is AngelaDawnSawyerRiley 24. So episode 7 of 7, which I should have put already. Missing most, as always. You guys could hop on and chat with me. That would even be something that you could do. It doesn't always have to be in person because, like me, I'm limited with transportation and have no friends. But, there's always chat. There's other forms of communication. Granted, most forms of my communication are infiltrated or duplicated, which was also certain people's doing. But you could at least talk to me in person. Give me a chance to, I bet you do know my side of the story. And yet you aren't changing. You know, a lot of this came from a breaking and entering back in the 90s. And the property was either my aunts and uncles or known as. And they broke in and stole a great deal of stuff. One of the things that was gotten to was the safe, and what was in that safe was was some jewelry, keepsakes, namely paperwork, namely life insurance policies. I believe the deed. I believe there's property deed in there, maybe more than one. There was death certificates, birth certificates, the family's IDs, guardianship papers, stuff like that. A typical safe, I guess. Anyways, we've had lots of issues since, and that's what started the possession. There was a police report filed, had to be, because the insurance couldn't pay out without the insurance, without the police report. And I believe that point was proven, and I believe the outcome was the same. Was it not? I believe it was a little different because you guys ran with it and collected fucking four plus ways from Sunday with it, whereas my family filed the police report, collected from the insurance, and walked and tried to get back what they could by buying stuff back. You guys collected it and ran with it 4 ways plus from Sunday. Anyways, the paperwork all had to be, we had to file a police report to, like, on the life insurance policies and the property deeds and birth certificates, all of that. There was no choice. But anyways, they ended up using, so all the paperwork had been replaced, which made the old paperwork null and void, right? You'd think. So anyways, they ended up using that to put my entire family under possession, because they took all the paperwork and all the IDs and used it for collateral, so they could say that they had the value or the backing to run with the load. And that way, when they ran with it, if they lost it, all they had, what they owned or the assets that they had, they could take them. When their assets, it was identity theft, or straight possession. I'm not sure which, but anyways, so that's what started it. And that was back in the 90s. I'm early 40s, and this is 24. So I just caught a parasite. Anyways, so that was a huge thing, and I think it happened at more than one location, and I think one location the family was gone, and I think may have even had imposters living somewhere on the property that they didn't know about, like underground. And I think one was an outright home invasion, and I think they were both known as the same address and known as the same owners. But anyways, that's what started it with my family. And my life insurance policy was in my birth name. And then I stood to inherit like my grandma's property and contents of the property. So that was one of the main reasons why they started using my identity. But what they didn't realize is whenever they started using my identity, there was already five females that used it. And they used me as a cover of their whole careers. Which is what a lot of the people's, is what some people's problem is, because they say that if I'm me, then that causes a problem and means, first off, it means that the one that started it isn't, and it means that I most likely have their review. But you see what you're getting away with. That was uncalled for. You know what? You people thought if you made me dumb as hell that you could continue getting away with this, and I am fed up. Somebody needs a medic. I didn't say. But I'm going to go because I'm pissing people off and being threatened. So I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause any problems with anybody. So anyways, bye.